Hey fantastic people, welcome back to F1ntastic Gaming. So we're back here with F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, episode 18 today for the Japanese Grand Prix. And you can see we're getting straight into some admin. So we've got a power unit upgrade from Honda, which we didn't have to spend any extra resource points on, so that's good news. We have a lot of time on the activity timeline. We also have a good budget, with which I don't think we're going to spend any money on any facilities because we're saving up for a driver transfer at the end of the season. And we have some sponsorship renewals, so we have to renew 2 sponsors, or we get 2 completely new sponsors. So I think we're gonna go with new sponsors because our sponsor goals have evolved, because the team has evolved. We've become a top team now, so we need to have better sponsor goals, which would get us more money. So the first new sponsor we're gonna sign with is Cassandre. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure, but yeah, we have to achieve a top 4 finish to get their sponsor goal bonus. And now the next sponsor we're gonna sign with, well, you can see I'm deciding, and I'm going with the highest goal bonuses because now I think we're capable of achieving those goal bonuses, so that's really important. So that's why now I'm gonna sign with Neon with their qualifying goal. Their goal is to qualify in P4 or better. I think that's a viable goal. I think it's a goal that we can go with. So now I have customized the sponsorship decals on the car, because when we get new sponsors we have to get new decals. I think the car looks great. I think the new sponsor decals look great, and yeah, I'm very happy with these new sponsorship deals that we have signed, because I think these are good goals and it's a good amount of money as well. So the first thing we're going to do in the activity timeline is a sponsor advertisement event. Then we're going to be doing a team building event, and then I think we're gonna go for a sponsor conference. So yeah, a lot of sponsorship stuff, because we did get new sponsors in this episode, so I think it's good to do some of that stuff. And yeah, so we filled up the activity timeline. Now I think we can forward through the activity timeline, and we're gonna see that we actually went for an aerodynamics equipment upgrade instead of the sponsor event, because I think the equipment upgrade would be way more beneficial for us. So now we've forward through time. We got a chassis upgrade as well on the car, so I think that's definitely gonna help us at the Japanese Grand Prix. But now when we do advance to the Grand Prix weekend, something really important comes up.
Everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
I'm gonna be really honest, I have been waiting for quite a few races for this message to pop up. I have been waiting for quite some time to be able to see what regulation changes are there, what parts I'm gonna have to adapt. So you can see this is the R&D tree. This is where we see what parts we must adapt as per the new regulations for next season in the career. And you can see there's a lot of parts that we need to adapt. Our entire engine and aero is wiped. We're gonna have to adapt all of those parts unless we want to buy them all over again next season, which is going to cost a lot of resource points. So that's why this adaptation is really important. That's why I've saved up so many resource points, because the adaptations to adapt the part, it's pretty cheap when you compare it to how much it would cost to buy them all over again with the resource points. So that's why it's better to adapt them now to make sure that they're secure for next season. And I don't want to adapt too much. I don't want to put full focus on adapting. I want to buy some new parts for the season as well, because I think we do need to make some more progress this season to try and get our car in a better place so that we have a more secure chance of winning more races. You can see practice 1 was really disappointing. The qualifying sim program said we would qualify P15. Again, disappointing. Practice 2, we finished the session P4. Again, not so bad. But yeah, I was still a little bit disappointed in practice 2, because I think we could have done a lot more. And you can see you got a good amount of resource points, good amount of acclaim boost as well. I think we're gonna go up an acclaim level. Yes, we are. So our team is up to acclaim level 14, which is great. And now we head to the pre-qualifying checks, and now this is where we have to check some tips from Jeff. Again, they're not bad. They're actually pretty good tips about how you must, and I must emphasize this, you must get every corner right. You mess up one corner, you're gonna be in big trouble, because pretty much all of the corners except for a few corners lead straight into the next corner. So if you mess up one corner, you're gonna be in big trouble. You gotta get that flow right, you gotta get that completely correct. the flow of the track. You need to be able to understand that flow and be able to use that flow to gain some time. So if you can't do that, then you're gonna lose out pretty badly. You're not gonna be able to do well, Suzuka. So yeah, that's what Jeff was trying to tell us. Again, I think we're gonna adapt some parts, and because we have a good amount of resource points, gonna adapt some aero parts. I think we've done really well with the adaptation, and we've barely got any left to adapt. But yeah, that's also, we adapted 2 more parts, but I don't think we have any resource points to adapt any more parts. But you can see the arrows almost done, just a couple, I think 3 parts left to adapt on the engine, and I think then we can focus a little bit more on some upgrades, actual upgrades. But one thing that I am fearing a little bit is about the upgrades, is that if we have to upgrade a part, then we have to adapt them as well. Now that's not going to be good. That's going to cost quite a few resource points. But anyway, let's focus on qualifying. It's gonna be wet, it's gonna be difficult, but let's make the best of the situation, try and maximize our qualifying position, and who knows, maybe at the end of qualifying it might end up being dry at the end, so then we could take advantage of that and get a good lap time in. So at Suzuka in general, we have to go for a high downforce setup, especially in the rain, because we're gonna need the most grip we can get. I already go 7.7 wings, I change it to 9.7 wings. That is a lot of downforce, but it is something that is very much required. Tire pressures are already on the lowest as we start our first lap of qualifying here. You can see I did do an out lap, I didn't do a flying lap, I did a proper out lap just to get acquainted to the track in the wet, just to see what the grip levels are like, so that I can gauge properly. Even though I have this racing line assist on, it's not really an assist, but yeah, I do have the racing line on. That does not really help me gauge how much traction I have on this car, and you can see our first lap time is a horrible one. 1 minute 40, 1 minute 40.9, almost 1 minute 41 seconds. I don't know what is happening there, but we really need to make some gains on this lap, because that lap was horrible. Maybe it was just a banker lap, maybe it was just a starting lap, but yeah, this second lap needs to be way better, and I think that's exactly how this lap is. You can see we were losing a little bit of time in that final sector, but we did improve quite a bit. But the thing is, we're behind Kevin Magnussen, so that is not good. That is not really good for us, because, but you can see we try to go for another flying lap, and there is a slight problem, and that is that this track is almost completely dry. And I honestly do not know why the game did not tell me this earlier, but the track is almost dry, and it is definitely time for the soft tires. And you can see there's going to be a real rush to get a lap in on the soft tires, because we wasted time by going out on the inters. If we would have gone out on the softs at that time, we would have had enough time for multiple laps. But you can see Bottas, what is Bottas doing? He's trying to make an overtake on us right now in the middle. At the end of qualifying, we have one and only one lap to make it work and to get to qualify as high as possible, and now this Mercedes is blocking us and trying to get past us. What is happening here? Like, this is absolutely crazy. I mean, the AI is literally ruining my lap, and now, I mean, there's nothing we could have really done about it. We had to get on track as fast as we could, and then suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, the AI starts overtaking us, and now we come onto the back straight. Qualifying is complete, so that's it. This is our final lap. We got to make this work. Four corners left on this track on this lap, and you can see Bottas making contact with us, trying to get past us at 130R. I don't know why that notice is coming in, but yeah, you can see Bottas just ruining everything. You can see he's braking so early. Why is he braking so early? Now he's ruined the entry into the corner, he ruined the exit. I mean, the AI completely ruined this qualifying. I don't expect much from this qualifying. I mean, how far up the order? P14. That is absolutely disastrous qualifying session for us. We qualified in P2 last time out of Russia, and yeah, this is not going well at all. And I expect it to be up there in the top 5, because we should be fighting for podiums and wins. But that's going to be a last of first challenge now. And I mean, Suzuka is not the best track for overtaking. It's really difficult to overtake there. So I don't know how we're going to find our way into the top 5. But yeah, the top 5 is definitely my goal for this race. I don't know what Claire is saying. Why does she say great work? We qualified P14. So that qualifying session was crazy, to say the least. Yeah, weather changes and traffic from Valtteri Bottas just completely ruined that one. I mean, I do not like it when the AI do that sometimes. But yeah, our Acclaim didn't do too well. We lost out a little bit to our rival. We lost a point because our rival Max Verstappen did qualify on pole position way higher than we did. But yeah, we really have some big goals for this race. I want to get into the top 5, or at least get into the points, because I am fighting currently for 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, and if Max Verstappen wins the race, he's gonna get a big jump on me, and he's gonna get a lot more points than I would. So that's why we must really make some inroads on this race, and it's gonna be very difficult, because it is, as I mentioned earlier, it's gonna be like a last first challenge. It's gonna be really hard to get up the order. We're gonna have to be really punchy, make some decisive overtakes, and that's gonna be a huge challenge, because Japan is not the track for overtaking. It is I mean, there are some nice overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and into 130R. It's great for racing, but the thing is, it's not easy to overtake. It's a big challenge for the drivers, so that is why we're gonna have to make some serious inroads in this race.
Superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo. A strong showing from the Australian. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Leclerc, Stroll, Vettel, Norris, and Esteban Ocon, Fiat, Raikkonen, Falcon, and Bottas, Magnussen, King, Roman Grosjean and George Russell, Latifi, Sainz, Giovinazzi and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And now it's time to head down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
So you can see Jeff trying to give us some extra motivation there. Good on him, actually. It's a good improvement from his classic line, which is let's finish in the points today, something like that. But yeah, it's a good improvement. So it is Honda's home Grand Prix, our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. So yes, this race is very important as we go to 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. Fantastic getaway there, and we use the overtake mode. We're already past Alfa Romeo. Don't know what happened there with my MFD. Something's wrong with it. But yeah, you can see going around the outside, the inside line is too risky. We could get damage, and around the outside of Lando Norris, we're already up into P10, P8 now. We're already up into the points. We're doing so well off the start. Now all we need to do is continue that momentum and make some more overtakes. You can see we're so close to Lance Stroll, right up on his rear end, and just one single corner later, you can see we used overtake mode up into Degner 1, I think this is, and down into Degner 2. We make a huge dive bomb down the inside. I think we squeezed Stroll out a little bit. Might have squeezed him off track, but it was a fair overtake because I didn't get any warnings for it. We get so close to Perez into the hairpin. Yellow flags behind because the hairpin is the car slowed down so much into the hairpin. But wow, that was absolutely insane down the inside of Stroll. And now as we defend from Lando Norris going through the spoon curve, it's a great corner, but oh no, not again.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So let me explain. It has become some kind of tradition for my recording system to suddenly just stop. It just suddenly stops recording and then randomly starts back up again. So I think now 5.5 laps of this race are completely gone. So there's no recordings for that. So now I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an update for what has happened. So we pitted on lap number 6. This is our first lap out on the medium tires. You can see we're still behind Sergio Perez. We were behind him on lap 1, so that means we couldn't get past him yet. And Lando Norris is behind us. But now Sebastian Vettel is making a challenge. Out comes Lando Norris. So he was ahead of us actually, but he came into the pits and we barely managed to make an undercut. Down the middle of Vettel and Norris, we retained our position, which is I think net P7 if I'm not wrong. So yeah, we managed to maintain our position, but barely as we come through the S section. This is lap number 8 now. So yeah, Sebastian Vettel is the one who's mainly attacking us now, and so is Lando Norris now that he's out of the pits. And you can see down into Degner 1, we have to defend hard. We run wide. He goes down the inside. Sebastian Vettel goes down the inside. He pushes us wide a little bit as we make a bit of contact. We go onto the grass and down into the hairpin. Lando Norris DRS now is making a move on Sebastian Vettel, and you can see that how close it is. You can see that we went onto the gravel and we kind of lost control of our car a little bit there. So yeah, you can see that when we went onto the gravel, Sebastian Vettel went down the inside and there just wasn't space. I didn't have enough control on the car to give Sebastian Vettel the space he needed to make that overtake. So we barely retained that position. So that gives us a good idea about how our pace is definitely not where we want it to be, because we should be beating that Ferrari. We should be ahead of Ferrari and McLaren. We should be fighting for the lead of the race. So that's why that continues our struggles at the Japanese Grand Prix as we come into the final chicane. You can see we're pushing to the limit, braking as late as possible, using all of the curbs as much as possible, obviously staying within the rules. But yeah, we're really pushing to the limits here. You can see down this main straight, that's the main overtaking opportunity for Sebastian Vettel, and you can see out comes Danny Kvyat. Out of nowhere, the AlphaTauri is suddenly in contention as we run a little bit wide through turn 1, down through turn 2. You can see Sebastian Vettel is right on our tail as we come through the S section. We barely stay ahead, but yeah, this is really becoming a huge fight here. But for how long can we retain this position? We're starting to lose grip on these tires already, but you can see Sebastian Vettel's already attacking down this back straight. He's using the slipstream. Can he make an overtake down into 130R? I don't think so, because we're using so much ERS. We've maintained the position for now, but the next challenge comes down into turn 1, down the main straight. Now we have to get a perfect exit from the chicane, which we do. We get a great exit now through the final corner. I'm not going to use ERS yet. I don't think we have any ERS left for this lap, but now we can use ERS, and you can see we got the perfect exit right there. And now Sebastian Vettel can't attack us just yet as we come through turn 1, but he will be able to attack us later on in this lap, especially and definitely later on in this race. I mean, we managed to keep him behind for now, but I don't know for how much longer we will be able to keep him behind. You can see that we seem to be pretty strong in the corners, just our engine is wearing out so much. You can see in the bottom right corner in the MFD, it shows an engine icon with a dark orange color behind it. That means we're having a lot of engine air wear, and you can see as we come through this mini straight section before the Degner 1 and Degner 2, we were losing time to Sebastian Vettel. So it is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, but our engine isn't doing so well, is it? But you can see now down into 130R, Sebastian Vettel tries to go around the outside because we defend the inside line, but as that happened last lap, we have to defend through the chicane. Do we get a good exit? Let's see. No, we don't get the best exit as we come through the final corner, so we can't extend the gap enough. We have enough ERS that we can use down the straight, but you can see that Vettel has DRS, has the slipstream, and I think so has Danny Kvyat. He doesn't go for a move, but Sebastian Vettel does round the outside. We run a little bit wide through the first couple of corners. Sebastian Vettel does a proper switchback as we come through the S section, through the beginning of the S section, and we stay ahead there. But wow, that was so close. We nearly lost the position. Oh, look at that camera angle. That's actually a really nice camera angle to show how Sebastian Vettel did that fantastic switchback there. And you can see through the first corner in the S section, through turn 3, that was, I think, we squeezed him out. It was a fair squeeze, but yeah, we squeezed him out. We retained our position, and now Danny Kvyat has slipped past the Ferrari, and I think they're side by side. I think the AlphaTauri has secured that position. So yeah, that was some really good opportunistic moves from the AlphaTauri of Danny Kvyat. But yeah, that was very close. We nearly lost the position there. Just 2 more laps after this one, and then the race is over. You can see that Danny Kvyat has a bit of a gap behind. So there is a bit of a gap behind. That's a bit of security for us, but the only thing is we need to retain that. You can see the turbocharger is on its last legs. This engine is really worn out, and we can't maintain that gap. And Vettel has fallen down the order. It's Ocon behind Kvyat now, and now our main challenge is to stay ahead of Danny Kvyat. We're on to lap number 12 now as we come through the first couple of corners. This is now the stage where we push to the absolute limit. This is the penultimate lap of this race. Not much left to go, and we just have to maintain this position as Danny Kvyat down the inside of the 130R. We go side by side through such a fast corner, such a risky corner. Not as risky anymore, but it's nevertheless an exciting corner as we cut to after the chicane. You can see we're onto the main straight now. Again, Danny Kvyat chasing us down. We barely managed to defend through 130R. Can we defend through turn 1? Onto the final lap of the race. You can see we're defending the position. Could that be the last chance for Kvyat to overtake? Because if we get these next few corners absolutely correct, if we do our best in the upcoming corners, then we can stay ahead, and when we come down the back straight, we might have more of an advantage. You can see through the S section we're doing pretty well, so we're doing well on grip as Max Verstappen wins the Japanese Grand Prix in the first season of our My Team career. And you can see that we're quite far ahead of Danny Kvyat coming through 130R. So we were pretty successful in defending our position. I don't know why that notice is coming again. But yeah, you can see we're coming through the final chicane. We have held out so many attacks. After so many attacks, we have stayed ahead to take the checkered flag P7 in that race. I'm pretty happy with that result. I mean, after qualifying, we made up a good amount of positions, and yeah, it was a difficult race. We did our best. You can see we got driver of the day. I think we definitely deserve that. And yeah, let's watch the podium ceremony. It was a great race.
That's it then for another fantastic Grand Prix here in Japan. A brilliant victory that has thoroughly earned the applause from the sellout crowd here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So as you will see now, we actually completed a podium pass goal. So that's a podium pass goal that we completed. That's great for us, and we get a good amount of points for the podium pass tier now. I think we're up to tier 3 now, because it did get refreshed, the tiers, because the new season of podium pass came. But you can see up into P7, quite a way, quite a big distance off of Sergio Perez. So we were far away from P6, but I think we maximized our pace. We maximized our position. I think, yeah, that was a good race. Quite a lot of attacks from behind, but yeah, that was pretty much because our car was definitely not doing good at this race. Our engine just didn't have it. We didn't have the best aero. We didn't have the aero that we needed to make more gains in this race, and I think we have taken a hit in the drivers championship because we've lost some points, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're down to P5. We were up in P3. We were flying high, but since Max Verstappen won the race, we're, I think, 8 points off now. We're currently equal on points with Charles Leclerc, but we're quite a few points off of Max Verstappen. So in the next race, I think the next race is the US Grand Prix. I'm not sure. I think it's the US Grand Prix, and yeah, at the US Grand Prix, we're gonna have to make some serious gains. We're gonna have to hopefully get at least a podium, because I mean, that race we should be pretty strong at the US Grand Prix. But yeah, the Japanese Grand Prix, we definitely didn't do as well as we wanted to do. You can see Max Verstappen in the rivalry, he gained 3 points on us, so that's not good either. In terms of acclaim, still a good boost from us, not a great boost from our teammate as usual, but whoa, that is bad. That is not good. We have 0 cash gains. I mean, okay, 90,000, but that's barely anything. So we didn't achieve any of our sponsor goals. So that's not good to hear. So yeah, we have to make up a lot of ground at the next race. This is not the level team we are anymore. We're a top team now. We're doing much better now, and I expect to do a little bit better than we did at this race. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it was a really fun episode. I think it was really exciting. I had a lot of bumps on the way as well, especially with that recording issue. I hope you enjoyed this race. This is F1ntastic Gaming. Be sure to like and subscribe.